guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be sharing with you some of my historical fiction recommendations. I love historical fiction, and I pick it up when I can, and it's just so awesome. I do have a part 2 of this video which will be discussing my favourite historical fiction shows, and so because I didn't want to make this video too long, so that will include documentaries I've watched and just fictionalized TV shows set in a historical period. So without further ado, let's get into this giant bunch of recommendations. First off, we're starting off with a retelling of a Bible story. It's called The Red Tent, and it's about this bunch of women who are part of, I think it's Jacob or Abraham's convoy of people, and every time they get their period they have to go into this specific tent, and it's just very superstitious. It's told through the daughter, one of Jacob's wives, and it is so interesting. This is the movie copy. I do have an original somewhere in that massive pile of books, but this was the most accessible one. So yes, it's called The Red Tent, and it is by Anita Damas. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Second is an author that I don't talk about a lot on my channel, but I do love him, and that is Mario Vargas Llosa. This is called The Greenhouse. It is set in Peru, and it's about this brothel, and it's about this woman wanting to escape her life in this from this brothel, and her boredom and just wanting to escape it, and her journey trying to escape from the life that she's in. And it's very fascinating. I am sort of the way through it. I love it so much. It is so gorgeous, and yet again, look at this gorgeous cover. Third, we have Prisoner of Night and Fog by Anne Blakeman. Now, I actually saw this on Sasha, a Book Utopia's channel a couple of years ago, and I was like, I got to have this, and I love this edition. Even though I love the hardbacks, I like this really good. This is about a German girl who is the niece of Adolf Hitler, and her romance with a Jewish reporter, and it's interesting. I do like the exploration of their relationship, and I just do like seeing a person who was so close to Adolf Hitler, just seeing the transformation. There is a sequel to this. I need to get it to finish off the duology, but I loved it. The romance was very well done, and it was just perfect all around. The fourth one I have is it's an adult book, and it's called The Harlot, by Saskia Walker, and oh my god, yes. Now, I will say this though, there is a heavy amount of sex scenes in this book, and I just would not recommend this to anyone over the age of 20 or who cannot handle extensive sex scenes. But the plot does get muddled, but it is so good. It is just so good. I don't know what possessed me to pick this up. Probably the cover. And it is a series. There are 3 more books, and I need to get them, but I think they're out of print. But look at it. Look at this cover. Seriously, guys. All these covers are gorgeous. And now we get to the Roman period of this haul. So I have Claudia Doria, Daughter of Rome by Annette May, and this specific copy is out of print. I checked everywhere, and this was one of the last copies in this edition, and the other edition is so horrible. I don't like it. So I was extremely happy to get this when I was in New Zealand at this old bookstore that had got ripped apart by the earthquake. And so this book follows Claudia, who is the daughter of a Roman general, and she has a gift that she can see visions. And so she falls in love with this gladiator called Pilate, who you may know from the Bible as Pontius Pilate. And she's like, I want him. And so she asks the gods of Isis to grant her, a spell to bind Pilate to her. And she finds out that there are consequences for mixing with the dark arts and the gods. And oh my god, this book was so good. I love rereading this, and I can't read it often because it's falling apart. but it is one of my go-to historical fiction novels because it is just so good. Claudia as a character can be whiny at times, but as you do grow over the novel, it is so fantastic. She grows into like this wise woman, and yeah, it's just really good. And the catch on is power, passion, betrayal, and yes, it's just awesome. Next one I have is part of a series. It's Empire of Dust by Eleanor Herman, and this is just to represent the other book she's got, which is called Legacy of Kings. Oh my god. This is about Alexander the Great and his journey as like a young man, and oh my god, it's fabulous. I loved Legacy of Kings. I read it when I was in New Zealand recently, and I actually have a review for Legacy of Kings, which I'll leave linked down below. But oh my god, it was so good. I loved every minute, and the sequel I haven't started yet, but I really love it. And yet again, the cover, guys, the cover, gorgeous. Now we get into the Tudor period history bit of this all, and I'm going to save all my Henry VIII, Anne Boleyn books for the end, but these are just a few that are set around that time, around the 16th century, I believe. The first is The Rebel Princess by Judith Colley Headley. Oh my god, guys. This book, I bought it in the same shop I bought Claudia, Daughter of Rome, and a few other books, and oh my god, yes. It has been years since I've read this book, but it was so good. It's basically set in Paris around 1207, and there's about this princess who wants nothing more than to settle down with her lover, but she has a mission. Her son has gone missing, and there is a bit of lineage behind her son, and so she goes on an adventure to save her son, and it is so good, guys. I have just loved this book, and I should reread it, but oh my god, it was so good. It was so witty. It was so fascinating. I loved everything about this book. Next up, we have The Book of Fires by Jane Borrowdale, and yet again, like, covers, guys, beautiful covers everywhere. This one is set in the 17th century, in 1752, and a 17-year-old girl runs away from her home in Sussex, pregnant with an unwanted child, and she goes to be an assistant to a firework maker called John Blacklock, and she lives her life there. It's really intriguing. It's about just a girl trying to navigate her way through life and being involved in fire making and gunpowder selling and scams and whatnot, and it's so good. Yet again, the writing is really good. I really love this, and like I said before, covers, guys, covers, beautiful. And now we get into the Tudor history bit of this thing, and I am going to go really fast between these things because there is a lot to get through. So first up, we have Lady of the Rivers by Philippa Gregory. This is part of the Cousins War series, and I have also read The Kingmaker's Daughter, The White Queen. And oh my god, this series by Philippa Gregory is so good. I loved Lady of the Rivers. Jacqueline as a character was awesome. She has powers to see into the future, and it's all connected to water and this bracelet, and it's just so good. It's about her life, and like she learns about alchemy and everything, and it was just so good. It was so fantastic. I loved it so much. I prefer this book over The Kingmaker's Daughter and The White Queen, but only because like I felt this was much more compelling. But if you read the series together as a whole, they do fit within one another because characters in this book show up in The White Queen and The Kingmaker's Daughter, and it was just very well done. This is probably my favourite of Philippa Gregory's series that she's done. Next, we have two Alison Weir books, and Alison Weir, oh my god, I love her so much. I recently rewatched a documentary called The Last Days of Anne Boleyn, and I realised that my favourite historian that is in that is her, and so these are two books set in the, I think it's called the 6 Tudor Queens series, and obviously there's going to be 6 books because there were 6 queens because Henry V was a bit of a prickly person. So the first one in the series is Catherine of Aragon. Yes. I haven't read this as yet because holy mama, the size of this book is intimidating. But I have always been fascinated between the story between Henry V, Catherine of Aragon, and Anne Boleyn. I have just been fascinated with that story forever because it's a story that's unique to its time and place, but it's also a universal story about a man and a woman. And I love that sort of story so much. So yes, first book is Alison Weir, Six Tudor Queens, Catherine of Aragon, the True Queen. And then we have, obviously, Six Tudor Queens, Anne Boleyn, A King's Obsession. Read this on the plane before I read something else for the Sydney Writers' Festival, but this was really good. I can't wait to read both of these. And I will run through just a couple more, one more book that I have read in pertains to Anne Boleyn, which is by Jean Pladley. It's called The King's Secret Matter, and it is so good. It does use a lot of old Elizabethan language, but it is so good, you guys. I got a lot of insight in that book that I have never got before, and I just was so happy with it and the way it turned out. It did drag on for a bit of time, but as it encapsulates most of the 7 years that Anne and Henry fought to get married, I just thought it was well worth it. So those are my recommendations for you guys. There is a lot, but I am a huge lover of historical fiction, so I don't. If you'd like to pick up any of these books, or if you've read any of these books, please tell me what you think down below in the description. I will see you for part 2 of this video, which is my documentaries and shows that you might be interested in. So if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.